Welcome everybody to the tropical Montgomery Theatre here in Sheffield. It gives me huge pleasure to be sat here today to announce KELL BROOK's first defence of his IBF Welterweight Championship of the World, where he'll be facing the #1 contender and mandatory challenger Jojo Dan of Canada on March the 28th at the Sheffield Arena. It's last year, 2014, was a year of huge highs and obviously huge lows for KELL BROOK. August the 17th in Carson in California was, I think for many people in this room, arguably for most of them, one of the best nights of everybody's life when KELL ripped the world title from Sean Porter. A fight that, some people gave him a chance, most people wrote him off it. We always felt that he could go and win a world title here or in America. And that was an unbelievable performance that I think deserves a hell of a lot of respect and credit. Following that, we had the incident in Tenerife that really nearly cost KELL BROOK his life. And I remember visiting the hospital there in Tenerife, and I wasn't sure whether he'd fight again. I know it was a very scary time, obviously, for KELL and the family. And after the huge highs of Carson, the lows of what happened in Tenerife were unbelievable to really comprehend what happened in his career. The road back has been very tough for KELL BROOK. He's had a lot of rehabilitation, worked harder than I've ever seen him work. With Dom, he's already been away on 2 camps abroad to get himself already in great shape. 10 weeks out from a huge fight against Jojo Dan. And now we get a chance to return to the Sheffield Arena, which was long the home of KELL BROOK, hasn't boxed there for around 15 months, to defend the IBF Welterweight Championship of the World. I can't wait. I can't wait to see him walk out to that trademark song, all of the lights. The crowd is going to be a sellout 11,000. Spectacular atmosphere at the arena, and I just can't wait to watch him walk down that steps as world champion. To hear the national anthem belting out around Sheffield is going to be a very proud day for KELL BROOK and also for this wonderful city. The card in itself is building already. We've named about 3 or 4 fights and opponents already in that card. Firstly, to my left, a guy who I think has to be up there as one of the most popular fighters, if not obviously in Sheffield, but if not in the country, a huge ticket seller, and someone I think has emerged as one of the top contenders in the middleweight division already this year, Adam Etches, who will defend his IBF international title against Sergei Kamitsky. It's a wonderful, wonderful fight. Thank you to his manager Richard Poxon for putting that together. You saw Kamitsky, of course, lose a great fight to Robert Stieglitz, and of course knock out Frank Guglielmi recently. Adam's been progressing very nicely, but this is the acid test for Adam Etches, and a chance for him, of course, in front of a packed Sheffield Arena to just have a great fight. And Kamitsky's style is perfect for Adam Etches. Down on the far right, I've got to say, Gavin McDonald, what a wonderful story. Come through obviously with his brother Jamie, who's down there, who's going to be fighting a unification fight against Kamida for the WBO and WBA Bantamweight Championship shooting in America. But his brother Gavin's really come through. Obviously won the British title, defended that, went on and beat Lucy Malinga for the WBO Intercontinental title, now sits at number 8 in the world, and we're delighted to deliver for him a shot at the vacant European Super Bantamweight title against Alexander Yuharov from Ukraine, and a chance to just keep this unbelievable story going for Gavin McDonald. I know that he's so excited to be on this bill. We have a lot of fans coming down from Doncaster. As well on the bill, Cal Yafai, who's going to be taking a step closer to a shot at the super flyweight world title, young Charlie Edwards, and a big new signing for us coming next week, who will also be on the bill on a fantastic night in Sheffield. We're going to hear from everyone on the table to talk firstly a little bit about the Adam Etches fight against Sergei Kamitsky. Adam's manager Richard Poxon.
Thanks, Eddie. First, I'd just like to thank Eddie for coming on and making me and Adam the offer to go on this show, and Adam to showcase his talents and the belief everybody's starting to get in him. I've been saying probably for 12 or 18 months, I think Adam's maybe the most exciting young middleweight in Britain, but I think now we're at the stage where he's probably the most exciting middleweight in Britain, full stop. Like Eddie says, Kamitsky's a big step up, and this is a 50-50 acid test. We've seen what he's done to other kids in Britain. Some of the fights he's lost in Britain, most people thought he won. He beat Frank Guglielmi, he was a good fighter. He recently drew with Nick Blackwell, who a lot of people are talking about. So after this fight, we'll be able to say where Adam really truly belongs in middleweight division in Britain, Europe and the world. He's got a great ranking with the IBF now. His next fight, a good win, should take him into the top 10, and that's where we're going, win straight for a world title.
Adam, obviously Kamitsky, everyone's seen him in Britain. Of course, the fights against not just Frank Guglielmi, but Martin Murray as well. By far the toughest fight of your career, and doing it all in front of your home fans at Sheffield Arena on March 28th.
Yeah, certainly, you know, he's been in with everybody. He's got some good wins on his record, so it's a chance for me to go out there and show everyone what I can do, and show everyone, you know, why I believe that I am best middleweight in Britain. I can showcase what I'm doing, and I can let all the people there see and make their own mind up.
Thank you. And Gavin, obviously a tough fight, unbeaten Unurov from Ukraine, the European title, things have just snowballed so quickly for you. Obviously the British title, a world ranking, you know, beating a former world champion as well, and now a chance to pick up the European title.
Yeah, last year was a great year for me. 3 fights with Sky, 3 good fights, picked up a couple of titles. I'm just wanting to build on that. European title is where it all started when my brother won his. It's what got me back into it. He inspired me, and it's now my turn. And to be on this show with KELL headlining, I mean, it's going to be a massive show. Sell out and fetch a load of fans down. Another unbeaten kid, and I'm just looking forward to putting on a good show and just working my way up them rankings.
Thank you. And Dom, obviously through the highs of Carson and then the rebuilding process after that terrible incident, and now KELL's in great shape. Probably I would say the best shape he's been in this far out from a fight. And now, of course, the fight that's going to unlock all the mega fights this summer against someone who I know you won't take lightly, Jojo Dan, #1 rated contender on March 28th.
Yeah, he's a tough kid, Jojo Dan. He's one of these Romanian or Canadian-based or Romanian-based Canadians, and they're tough, they can fight, and I've watched him a few times in Southpaw. He's awkward, he fights coming forward, he's tough, he's awkward, and he's worked his way into the position, and he's the type of kid that if you don't get on top of him early in a fight, it can make a very difficult night for you. So, KELL's got to be 100% for this kid. You can't, a lot of people think Sean Porter was a machine, KELL trained out of his skin for that fight, and you could see the intent with KELL all the way through that training camp. And, you look at this guy, you might think it's a step down, but that's where you get beat. Sean Porter looked at KELL Brook, and I think he said in a lot of videos afterwards, he underestimated KELL Brook. And that's what we're not going to do against Jojo Dan. You can never take these opponents lightly, because these are the ones who trip you up. He's got to get through this next fight to get into the big fights in the summer. So, KELL's dragged himself back from the brink of death. I can remember when I got the phone call, somebody phoned me up before anybody knew and said, KELL Brook's been stabbed in Tenerife. And the first thing I thought, I hope he's not dead. What a running story that's going to be. 3 weeks in the title fight, world top champion, and then stabbed up in Tenerife. And a lot of people thought he wasn't going to come back from that, and he's made a remarkable recovery. Not only has he made a remarkable recovery, he's actually got himself back into a fit state. He's trained really hard. Apart from the scar, the cosmetic look of it, he's very functional. There's no excuses. He's training hard, and he's got plenty of balance, plenty of power in that leg. And really, it's remarkable that he's come back from that, because I think a lot of people thought he was never going to fight again. So, homecoming, Sheffield Arena. I hope they're all going to turn out for him for this world title fight, because he said all along he wanted to fight in Sheffield Arena in front of his home crowd, bring the belt there. And it's a long time since we've had a world title fight in Sheffield, so I hope that the people or even casual boxing fans are going to turn up, because it's going to be a very good event, some fantastic fights on it, and can't wait to get it on 28th of March.
And KELL, I know March 28th will be an emotional moment for you. From Hillsborough Leisure Centre to Ponge Forge, obviously all those fights against Devon Alexander that were on, were off, your injury, his injury, then finally the shot Sean Porter, then the aftermath of that, and now a chance for you to walk out 11,000 sellout at Sheffield Arena as the champion of the world.
Just back here now, I feel so emotional. From last year winning that world title, going to Carson and doing what a lot of people didn't think I was going to do. And then, a few weeks later, having a horrific knife attack, laid in the hospital bed thinking, will I ever walk again? Never mind boxing. And just to be sat up here now, looking at y'all, building this fight, for the 28th of March in my Sheffield homecoming town. It is emotional, I guess. But I've done everything what they've asked me to do. It's been baby steps at the beginning. I've got myself into this position that, like you said, this far out, I'm really fit to say I've got 8 or 9 weeks left to go. You were coming on, and for this fight we could have gone pay-per-view for this fight and had a big, I had an American name, but for this fight, I've got the mandatory. I'm getting the mandatory out of the way, so it doesn't come on later on this summer, and I'm after them big massive fights after this fight. The names what we've been mentioning. So we're getting this one out of the way. The very tough customer. I can remember when I was #1 coming up mandatory for the title against Sean Porter. So I know he's going to be unbelievably hungry for that world title. But he's in against me, and I know what it took to get that world title, and I'm going to work twice as hard to keep hold of it. But it's going to be a very tough fight. It's awkward. It comes to fight. It's going to be a very entertaining fight. But I'm in my own town. I brought the title back, and I can't wait to put a massive show on for the fans. It's just going to be a normal Sky, so everyone's going to be able to see it, and we're going to build on from this, and obviously have them big massive fights. After this fight, but don't get me wrong, I'm not looking past Joe Jordan. Very tough customer. I know he's going to come and bring it, but you're going to be in for a treat. The card is stacked, with other champions and great fighters. So you're in for a treat. I just can't wait to get back in now. I'm counting the days.
We can't wait to, and I think importantly, Joe Dan, what you said stylistically, a very entertaining fight. Someone that loves to come forward. I think it'll be a very different fight to the Sean Porter fight. But right now, Kell sits in a wonderful division at 147 pounds. Obviously, we know who the other 2 champions are, Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao, and they're the kinds of fights that really we want to unlock for the summer and autumn of 2015. There's no reason why not. Kell's a world champion. He's already made a huge statement in America. And this really is a fight that's going to project him, not just back with the UK public, but also in America as well. We'll be announcing over the next couple of weeks a big TV deal where this fight will be seen on a huge channel in America as well. And we want to thank Joe Dan's team particularly for stepping up to the challenge. They could have waited, and that would have been a difficult scenario for us to take this fight in the summer, when we want to clear that up for Messrs. Khan, Mayweather, Pacquiao, all those big fights. So thank you to Lou DeBella, his promoter, and also Al Heyman, which we concluded the deal with last night. So thank you so much for coming today. At March the 28th, we've got some more big announcements coming next week. It's going to be a great night, a great occasion. You need to get behind one of, I believe, the finest fighters in the world. Kell Brook is very special. We've said this for a long time, and we've had ups and we've had downs, but the fact remains he's the IBF welterweight champion of the world. And just to leave you with a little story, which tickled me, and I told Kell's dad Terry the other day. When we was in the change rooms, Kell Brook was fighting. Very tense affair. You've got to imagine we're on away soil, and Dominic's in there doing a great job with the commission. Everything's on top. I think everybody in that room that night was very nervous. The hearts were beating fast. And my dad was in there, and I was sort of looking at my dad for a little bit of calm, because he's obviously been in this situation many times. And Kell was sitting there just before he was going to have his hand wrapped, and everyone was running around, and it was very high energy in the room. And my dad went over to Kell, and he just grabbed his hand, and he said, "You alright?" He said, "Good luck. Go out there, do the business, this is your time," etc. So then my dad walked out of the room, and I followed him out of the room. And he said, "You alright?" I said, "Yeah, very nervous." I said, "What do you think?" "Yeah, he's got to do this." He went, "Eddie, I just checked his pulse." He said, "He's not even breathing." And that's a special kind of fighter that can go in that kind of environment and perform under that kind of pressure. And let's not forget, beat a guy in Sean Porter that before Kell Brook beat him, everyone was making him out to be Hulk Hogan. And Kell really gave him a boxing lesson that night. He adapted, he did exactly what he needed to do to win that fight. Kell Brook is a very special fighter. And on March the 28th, you will see exactly why. And I think he's going to put in a scintillating performance and announce to everybody in the division, over in the UK and America, that he's here to stay. and do not be surprised when Kell Brook unifies the welterweight division over the next 18 months. It's real, it's happening. This is a British champion of the world from Sheffield, fighting in Sheffield. Live and exclusive on Sky Sports March the 28th. We'll see you all there. Don't forget your popcorn. Thank you.